Hey genderqueer chat friends, this is Jay. It is Monday, and this week's topic is what are your high and low points on your gender journey? And I was thinking about this today, and I had watched Joe's video, and she said that one of her high points in her gender journey was finding the term genderqueer, and it got me thinking about labels and how liberating they can be, but they can also be very limiting. And for me, personally, labels were kind of a source of and a reinforcement of shame. Before I found the term genderqueer, I really struggled with what box I fit into. So for a long time, I thought that I was bisexual, which sort of fit, but really didn't fit. I knew I wasn't trans, but I had this urge, and undeniable feeling that I wasn't completely male, and I wanted to do things that were female or more feminine. So I ended up labeling myself just as a cross-dresser, and in our society, being a guy that wears women's clothing is really frowned upon. It is consistently made fun of, picked at. It is the butt of jokes, and just really made out in our culture to be a negative thing. Being a drag queen or a performer, that's one thing. People can look past it because you're an entertainer or something, but just a male-bodied person who likes to wear women's clothes, people think there's something wrong with that, and that we're sick, or that there's something disturbing about us or whatever. So it really kind of, having those labels at that point in time really was a detriment to me. It made me hide my identity. It made me feel isolated. I had an incredible fear of rejection, and when it would come to surface in relationships, it more than once became the beginning of the end for me, unfortunately. And I've always been a person who struggled with my weight. I've fluctuated like Oprah. I go up, I go down, and I've literally lost and gained people in my life. So I've always had self-image issues, and to have those labels at that point in time that there was such negative connotation toward, it really compounded those self-image issues. When I found the term genderqueer, it was a process for me. And I would say finding the term genderqueer was at the beginning the worst part of my gender journey. At the end, or more recently, it has become the best part of my gender journey. When I came to terms with being genderqueer, and I was first learning about the term, it really made a lot of those feelings of shame and self-image and those fear of rejection compounded. I felt even more isolated, and I was in a relationship at the time, and the person that I was with rejected me. She was well aware of who I was and, what I did behind closed doors, but when I identified as anything other than male, she left. And it was a devastating time in my life. I really, at that point in time, was unaware of any genderqueer community. I was unable to find any support groups near me, or hardly any support groups at all for genderqueer people. I hadn't gotten into the research enough to really feel anything other than completely and utterly alone. I felt that I would never find somebody to love me for me. I felt damaged. I felt like I was the only person in the world who felt the way that I did, and that there was something wrong with me. However, through a lot of research and opening up and making myself vulnerable to the people closest to me in my life, I was able to completely spin that around 180 degrees. I really feared that telling my parents would destroy their image of who I was supposed to be, and that somehow I would be to blame for them not living out their dream of being grandparents or whatever, and seeing me get married and have a wife, etc. And, they kind of shattered that idea with their acceptance and openness. My sister has always been supportive of me. And, my best friend, who's a guy, was amazingly supportive, is amazingly supportive, has been there with me 110% of the way, all of the time. And other people have come into my life to show me that I am worthy of love and that I deserve the same respect and whatever as anybody else, and that there's nothing wrong with me being me. And in fact, I'm pretty awesome being me. So in addition, I was able to find community like Genderqueer Chat. This channel really helped me to feel unalone. That there were other people who I could identify with, who could identify with me, who had similar feelings to me, and made me feel so much less like an alien. And, now getting the opportunity to be on this channel, I just feel like I get to pay that forward to other people, and I think it's really important. That sense of community, having that term that puts us in this box, that I finally can identify with, and I'm sure most of you can identify with. We have those boxes in society, those labels, because that's how we connect. That's how people connect with other people, by their common interests, their common ideals, whatever. That commonality brings people together, and it is our purpose in life to make connections with other human beings. And something so integral to who we are as people, as gender, you need that community, and this has been a great forum for it. I also came to some other conclusions after coming to terms with my gender identity, and I read this in a book, basically about how happiness is a serious problem, I believe was the title of the book. I can't remember the author off the top of my head, but one of the things he talked about in the book was that image minus reality equals unhappiness. So when you have this image of how things are supposed to be, and then reality happens, when that reality is less than that image, it's the cause of unhappiness, or can be a major cause of unhappiness. And I really had to rid myself of the images I thought I was supposed to be and the images of who I thought I wanted to be, and have a reality check and realize that this is me, this is who I am, and once I embrace that, I turn that unhappiness into happiness. And, you know, that disbandment of that image allowed me to make myself vulnerable to people and to be open and completely myself with them. And that has been the most liberating part of my gender journey. Allowing myself to just be me and be okay with that, and other people show me that it's okay to be me, has been a high point. And, you know, I have met somebody else since that bad relationship, and I've been completely open and honest with them and been myself around them, and they love me despite it, or because of it. So it's really been an amazing journey. But I'm so grateful to be where I'm at, and I'd love to hear your stories, and I would love to hear suggestions for topics. Being a new member on the channel, you know, it would be great to hear from some of our viewers, to hear what they want to hear us talk about. Anyway, have a great week. Thanks to everybody else for their videos. It was great to watch them so far, Quincy, Joe, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone else's. Good night.